antlers, assumption, and artillery. "We just got here and now we're moving?" Holly demands in a huff as she packs up. Her mother is helping and clearly far from happy, but keeping the peace as she wants to understand the situation before making a snap judgment. Centris is proving to be all sorts of a mess with the local gangs, not to mention the intention was always to get you far away from the reach of those that hurt you. However, since you and your mother gave a straight veto against bunking with the EFL, and being on the Dauntless is a security issue in of itself, we needed to wait for a better option, which is what has come up. "But a Zal War arcology," she demands. "If it's the open air you're missing, then outside them isn't too bad from what I understand. Especially not for you. With your natural fur on, you could probably go streaking and only have to worry about gawkers and the occasional tundra worm attack. Maybe the police too," Bjorn remarks as he packs up his own clothing. 2 weeks in this safe house, and in the first 72 hours she was not only recognized but then later jumped by idiots on the street. After that, paranoia had set in, and there were several times where they had successfully identified Umbral organization members in the local area. They hadn't done anything, but it was clear the bastards were too close for anyone's comfort. Further scouting on other spires with the information they found had sent up little pings all over the planet. The bastards infested Centris like roaches, and with all the stupid little secret societies, cults, and back alley gangs that were the local fucking hobby, goddamned everyone was suspect in some way. No doubt there would be a similar problem on Zal War, but at least it would be a different problem than keeping people away from their abusers, as it would be a different pack of idiots crammed in like sardines. Needless to say, Bjorn wasn't optimistic about another ecumenopolis, but after lodging his official statement, he buckled down and soldiered on like the soldier he is. "That's not going to happen. No way, no how." "If you say so," Bjorn agrees. "Never going to happen. Fine. I hope you understand that." "I do." "Holly, he was teasing you," Martha remarks. "I understand," Holly half yelps. "I doubt that," Bjorn remarks. "I am not going streaking." She protests, and he rolls his eyes at this point. She can tease and flirt without fail, but the moment it turns around, she's a wreck. She's a kid, Bjorn. Just a kid. Of course she can't take a ribbing. Just relax and move on, he says to himself under his breath, unaware that Martha heard him. She smirks to herself and moves to work some mama magic with her daughter. Stupid, oblivious jerk. He has to make light of everything and just... Holly bites back a scream even as her mother comes up to her. "Holly," Martha says, and she turns. "Oh, I didn't hear you come up. How do you do that? It's hard to stop hooves from clattering. Heck, it's in our name." She's wound up like a spring and looks like she's about to explode with 1,000 different emotions. "Holly, relax," Martha says. Instead, Holly takes a deep breath, then deflates when Martha gives her a stern look. "You're not going very far, and he's not trying to be mean. But it's a whole other world and he's making fun of me. Holly, it's another world in one of the biggest axiom lanes in the galaxy. Going to and from it is so quick that you can come home for every holiday no problem. But it's also far enough away that most of the wretches that would want to hurt you simply aren't there. He's still making fun of me. Holly, he's not a Carib. He's not even a woman. Don't expect him to act like either. He's an alien from cruel space, no less. He doesn't think as we do. I chewed over it quite a bit on my shift at work following the meal we had together, and a lot of it makes sense. There is so much unknown to him and of him that expecting anything from him is simply absurd. But he said I'd be better off naked." "Did he?" Martha asks gently. "He did," Holly asserts. "Did you?" Martha calls into the apartment. "Did I what?" Bjorn asks, walking in. "Did you say Holly would be better off naked?" Martha asks, and an eyebrow goes up in confusion. "No, I did not." "Yes, you did," Holly protests. "Ms. Clatterhooves, you have a coat of fur on. By my reckoning, it's borderline impossible for you to be naked. Even where you have no clothes, I still can't see skin." He pauses and his eyes look to the left as he considers something. "Unless you're planning on shaving. You're not planning on shaving, are you?" "What? No." "Then congratulations, you're not naked and likely never will be." "Not how it works, young man." "Look, what is the problem?" "You won't tell me what the antlers are about, that's fine. I had a talk and they explained a way to be more understanding." Although telling them that he was told to think of anything that people are sensitive about and won't explain as an equivalent to his penis was not something he was going to share. Ever. And I'm fairly certain bumping up against something like that again. So are you willing to explain the misunderstanding? "She's very body conscious at the moment," Martha says and gets a betrayed look from Holly. "Fair enough. Is this about when we were talking about the climate of Zalwar?" Bjorn asks, and Holly nods sulkily. "Right. What I was saying is that if you find the arcologies too claustrophobic and want a breath of fresh air, then the atmosphere outside is suitable for it. It may be colder than Centris, but with your natural fur thickness, you should be easily comfortable, okay?" "Yes, that's okay." "Excellent. Crisis averted. I'll be packing if you need me," Bjorn says, walking away, and Holly just gestures in his direction for Martha to see. "I know. He's not a Carib. He's not attuned to the axiom the way we are, or at all, really. You said it's okay and he believes you. And if he doesn't, then he's going to politely pretend he does," she explains. "I can still hear you both. Quite clearly, in fact." Bjorn notes out loud for them both to hear. "Then I should tell you that you're missing more than half of every conversation you're in." "I figured that much out already, but since I have no idea what I'm missing or what direction to look in, I can't do much about it now, can I?" Bjorn remarks. "But you can sense axiom, can't you?" Holly demands. "I can, but I have no idea what I'm sensing. My brain's not built to process it, and I've only started being around axiom in the past few months. I have barely the slightest clue on what I'm doing," Bjorn remarks. "And there's the problem. Bjorn, the big deal with our antlers is that they're an enormous part of our identity we can feel every moment of the day. Shifting them around is like massively rearranging your face on both a physical and spiritual level. It's a great way to be hidden, but it's an enormous thing to do," Martha explains, and Holly looks embarrassed. "I think I understand. Axiom's mostly a swirling mess to me that's almost impossible to decipher." "So you can sense it?" "Yes, but I can't make sense of it. I have neither context nor training in sensing people's emotions with axiom. I get the occasional bit, but not much. The pattern seems to be massively different from person to person and race to race, and I'm not sure if I'm even paying attention to the right thing. It's impossible to ignore, but if I pay attention to the axiom, I just lose all focus because it's too much information all at once." Martha's now making gesture for Holly to interpret, but the younger Carib is being stubborn and shaking her head, causing her no end of frustration. "Well, if it's issues in understanding axiom, then who better than a Carib to offer you lessons on how to interpret what you're seeing? After all, if you're going to be spending so much time with my daughter, it's good to have a subject that never really runs out to fill the empty air," Martha offers to Holly's personal horror. "While that would be great and something I'd gladly put in my reports, from what I can sense of her axiom and the fact that it's moving really violently tells me that she's either about to hurt someone or scream, I think." "What?" "No, it's just that it's so weird and doing something like that and talking about all sorts of little things like everything's a date all of a sudden, while my mom's here is just too much." "Oh, so I'm getting in the way, am I? Well, luckily you'll be whole worlds away so you can get lovey-dovey with your bodyguard," Martha teases. "Mom, lovey-dovey nothing. Such a thing would compromise my good sense in the middle of the job. I need to think clearly to provide the best possible protection." Bjorn states factually. That's not what my little girl overheard. Mom, stop. That officer in question is currently on a punishment round of duty and has her wages garnished for the next 3 months for that severe breach of protocol. Bjorn replies, but was she wrong? To say such things where your daughter could hear? Yes, but not in what she said. It doesn't matter. I won't be led around by my lower head. I will keep your daughter safe. That is my mission. Period. You've got work to do, sweetie. Mom, I meant packing. Where was your mind going? Damn it, Mom. I can throw her out if you want, Bjorn offers. You're not helping. I'm here to keep you from being attacked by gangsters, criminals, pirates, and enemy armies. Mothers are another thing entirely, and way, way out of my pay grade. Bjorn teases back and Holly groans as Martha laughs out loud. See? He's not so bad. He has a sense of humor at least, and he's utterly dedicated to making sure you're safe, Martha says before leaning in. You can work on seducing him on your own pace, but I fully expect we'll eventually have a hoofless grandson for me to spoil. Mother, Holly whispers in annoyance as she squirms a little. Well, it's not like I can chase after him. I've got your father, Martha protests. Can I see him? I mean, I never really got a chance to get to know him before. Well, Holly asks, and Martha gives her a hug. Certainly, but he has many wives and daughters and is very dedicated to teaching his sons how best to live. I know, but I want to say goodbye at least. Oh, sweetie, you're not going anywhere. In fact, there's a family get-together in just a month. While that wretch had her claws in you, you avoided each and every one of them, but now you can come back, and I'm sure that your bodyguard will be more than welcome. If not as your +1, at least. I don't know, I mean, will the family accept me back after everything that happened? They will, and if they even think about doing anything else, I'll smack them so hard their fur will come off, Martha says, holding her daughter close. You know, there are some days I can't really believe this. One day you were just gone, and after years looking, I've found nothing. Then you're brought back to me, hurt but healing, made of reinforced metal and needing so many hugs I'd need to be an army to give them all. It was like being in a strange dream. Nothing was really real, and I just went through things without noticing anything. Then I wake up to find out that it was all part of a greater nightmare, one that's over, but one that was so very, very real. It's over, little girl. You're safe now, with a bodyguard and everything. Yes, but how long until that's taken away? When the Umbral organization is in no way, shape, or form a threat to you, which should take a few years at most with how deep their roots go and how much we keep finding. There are many branches of the psychotic sadists, but thankfully being a raging maniac doesn't engender much loyalty, so digging up information is getting easier and easier, Bjorn says, walking in. I've finished my packing, by the way. Wait, so how much are you guys going up against the Umbral organization? Not only do I not know, but I would not be allowed to tell you if I did, but I'm not privy to those operations either way. The information is need to know, and the only things I need to know is when to go into hiding with your daughter, when to be especially on guard, or when the Umbral is completely broken and the job's finished. Really? Yeah. What about the part of them that hurt me? Do you know anything about that? Holly asks, and Bjorn thinks for a moment. How the entire thing is subverted and how Swipe's body double is now their agent on the inside. Classified. Now let's get you packed so we can get you to safety. Our way off planet is in 24 hours. That's plenty of time to do whatever. You might think that, but you'd be surprised where time can go. Was there something about saying goodbyes earlier? How good are your ears? If not for the walls, I'd have been just barely out of spitting distance the whole time. Oh, well, yes. Look, I won't touch your clothes, but make sure you say your goodbyes. I'll pack up the rest, okay? Bjorn offers, and she nods.